Matt Miguez has plenty on his mind, and he's ready to share it with the world. It's time to hear the Miguez Mindset.
Welcome into a Friday edition of the Miguez Mindset right here on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles. Matt Miguez here, previewing week one of high school football, as well as talking college football. Southside picking up a big win over Notre Dame last night, 27-18 here in Acadiana. Tonight you got some big games as well, Acadiana and LCA. St. Thomas More opens their season tonight, and tons more we'll have you covered throughout the night on our social media as well as on our website, ESPNSouthwestLouisiana.com. But no, let's focus on college football today. And I'm going to start with last night's game, Florida and Utah. 24-11, Utah picks up the win over Florida. And look, I'm going to be honest, I'm a big fan of Billy Napier, and I have been ever since he came to Louisiana and the job that he did with the Raging Cajuns, and I've even supported him the last year or so when he's been at Florida. Last night was bad. And I'm not saying it because Florida didn't play well, because they certainly did not. They looked unprepared. And that was the first time ever, in my opinion, ever, that I've seen a Billy Napier coach team be unprepared. So that was concerning, to say the least. It was one of those games where, Florida did make some good plays at points. And when they made good plays, they were great plays. But then when they made bad plays, it was awful. Like the very first play of the game offensively for Utah is a 75-yard house call, and the cornerback just got burned. So look, not a great opening night for Billy Napier and the Florida Gators. Maybe they turn it around, maybe they don't. We'll see what happens. But look, I'm going to tell you this. Florida's not buying him out. They owe him $32 million if they fire him. So, look, right now, obviously, that wasn't the start that they wanted. He does have the number 3 recruiting class for 2024. Take that with what you will. Some people put more emphasis on that than others. But look, a top 3 recruiting class says something. The future's bright, in my opinion. Billy Napier can turn this around. I think he can turn it around if Florida gives him the time to do so. So we'll see what happens there. But look, we're going to talk about the games this weekend. Going to give you my picks for the weekend as well. There's one really good game to keep an eye on tonight, and that is Louisville and Georgia Tech inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Louisville coming into this game as a 7.5-point favorite. Really interested to see what they do with their new head coach. Now that Scott Satterfield is over at Cincinnati, what does Louisville look like now? They ended the season with a win over Cincinnati, 24-7 in the Liberty Bowl last year. So what do the new look Louisville Cardinals look like? Will be interesting to see. They are a 7.5-point favorite, so I'm going to take the Louisville Cardinals in this game, just because, look, Georgia Tech, they may have history and they may be a historic program. I know I'm repeating myself, but in the ACC and in the state of Georgia and all that good stuff, but they just haven't had the right pieces and the right coaching staff over the last couple of years. They've really struggled, and I think that continues, and Jeff Brom picks up his first win at Louisville over the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Moving on to Saturday, TCU and Colorado. The Deion Sanders era opens for the Buffs. I'm interested to see how this goes, honestly. They're playing TCU, the number 17 team in the country. TCU is a 20.5-point favorite, and I'm kind of feeling that way. Because, look, do I think Deion's going to have success at Colorado? Yes. Do I think that he will produce winning seasons at Colorado? Yes. Do I think 2023 is one of those? No. You can't turn... I would be hard-pressed to watch a coach turn a 1-11 team into a winning team overnight. That just doesn't happen. So if you're Colorado, look, if you get 4 or 5 wins, I think you're building a statue of the man. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, he's got a very talented quarterback in his son, Shadur Sanders. So we'll see what comes of that game. Again, 20.5-point favorite. If I was putting money on it, I would go TCU to win it. So again, like I said, we'll see how that game plays out at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. Boise State and Washington at 2:30. Washington a 14-point favorite. They come into this game 10th in the country with Michael Penix Jr. running the show. Look, Washington's going to be really good this year. And Boise State's talented. They always are. But look, Washington's going to be too much to handle, I think, in this game. And I'm going to take the Huskies in that one. UTSA and Houston. This one's going to be a Texas battle. Look, San Antonio's not too far from Houston. They're about 2 hours apart. There's a little rivalry here. They're not in the same conference anymore. Both teams moved up. Houston's now in the Big 12. UTSA is now in the American. UTSA is a 2-point favorite in this game at 6 o'clock tomorrow night on FS1. And I'm actually going to go with Houston here. Look, they're breaking out some Oiler-inspired uniforms. They've got an Oiler-inspired turf with Houston Cougars in blue and red script in the end zone. It looks fantastic. And look, some people might think that doesn't matter. That's going to hype the players up. That's going to hype the fan base up. And I think that makes a difference. So if Houston on the field can keep it close, I think they could win this game over the Roadrunners. But look, the Roadrunners still have Frank Harris. He's a great quarterback. Probably one of the least talked about quarterbacks in the country. So interested to see what they look like here in 2023, because that's the thing with week one. You just don't really know what they're going to look like. You use week one to see where they are, and then you go from there. North Carolina and South Carolina at 6:30 on ABC. UNC is a 2.5-point favorite, and I'm going to take that. Look, South Carolina has Beamer Ball. They have Spencer Rattler, and that's all fine and great. But North Carolina's got Drake May. And Drake May is probably the third best quarterback in the country. Or Jordan Travis, that could be debatable. But I'm going to go with the Tar Heels here. Mac Brown gets another win here to open up 2023, and I think that they keep that train rolling over on Chapel Hill. And South Carolina's going to be fine. I think they're going to be good this year. 8-9 wins maybe. They compete in the SEC East, but North Carolina picks up the state rivalry, the Carolina rivalry victory tomorrow night. South Alabama and Tulane. This might be one of the best games of the entire weekend. Tulane obviously had the historic season last year, winning the Cotton Bowl over USC, winning the American Conference, all that stuff. Tajay Spears now departs to the NFL. You still have Michael Pratt back at quarterback. You still have some weapons out wide, including former Louisiana Raging Cajun Dante Fleming. I really like Tulane's team, but man, South Alabama. You have 22 total starters. South Alabama returns 18, 9 aside. It's the same team as last year, basically, that finished second in the Sun Belt after falling to Troy in one of the final games of the season. Troy went on to win the conference championship with a 12-2 record. But look, I think South Alabama is going to be the favorite this year to win the Sun Belt. Carter Bradley, Kane Womack, you've got LaDamian Webb at running back. You still got great receivers, and you've got an incredible defense with Keith Gallman and Yam Banks. I like South Alabama to come into New Orleans and pick up a victory here on national TV tomorrow night against the Green Wave. UCLA and Coastal. Look, this one's going to be interesting. UCLA lost a lot. Coastal, obviously, they still have Grayson McCall, but they have a new head coach, and his first game as a head coach ever is inside the Rose Bowl. 14.5 in favor of UCLA. I don't know that I would go that far, but look, it could be somewhere very similar to that. So we'll see what happens there. I'm going to pick UCLA in that one. Clemson and Duke on Monday night. Clemson is a 13-point favorite, and I'm going to roll with that. Cade Klubnik is the new quarterback at Clemson. He played in spots last year. He's very hyped up, very talked about. We'll see just how much he can live up to that hype. But look, anytime Dabo Swinney's coaching a team, more times than not, I'm going to pick them. So look, Clemson starts the season 9th in the country. They're a 13-point favorite over Duke. I'm going to take that action. Give me the Tigers in that one. And then the last one we're going to talk about, LSU and Florida State. Sunday night in Orlando. 6:30 right here on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles. LSU is ranked 5th. Florida State is ranked 8th. This is going to be a dogfight. These teams are so evenly matched. Jaden Daniels and Jordan Travis, very similar quarterbacks. LSU has the advantage, in my opinion, at the receivers. Offensive line will be interesting to see. LSU's got a great one coming back. We'll see if Florida State can answer that. Defensively, look, both of these defensive lines are nasty. Jared Verse for Florida State. And on LSU's side, you've got Mekhi Wingo and Harold Perkins Jr. and guys like that. Look, it's going to be a close game. Don't get me wrong. Give me LSU 35-28 in this game. High scoring. These offenses are going to match each other for a while. LSU pulls away late again and gets revenge for the season opener in 2022 down in New Orleans. We'll talk more about we'll react to these games next week right here on the Miguez Mindset here on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page at ESPN South Louisiana. Make sure you follow us on social media at ESPN_SWLA. Hope everybody has a great Labor Day weekend, and we'll be back on Wednesday recapping the week and previewing week 2, as well as talking about the NFL right here on the Miguez Mindset on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles.